Create a home within yourself so that you can always have yourself to return to. Hey beloveds, I'm Yvette Ratikopa, author, life coach, leadership and wellness educator. Welcome back to the Living Consciously podcast. So today I want to talk about how do you create a home within yourself. This is actually one of my quotes which I posted on Instagram and Twitter as well, obviously. So then I posted it and it went almost viral. So from that I had a few DMs of people asking me, how do I create a home within myself? How do I do that? Because it sounds like such a foreign concept. So I'm going to share with you guys how you can actually create a home within yourself. The first step to creating a home within yourself is self-acceptance. You want to see your relationship with yourself just like you see your relationship with other people. And a lot of times we don't feel at home with other people because maybe we feel like we don't fit in. Maybe they reject us, right? Or maybe it sounds like, or it feels like we've had experiences with those people whereby we find that we feel rejected by them, or they don't accept us, or they don't treat us well. So self-acceptance is a big part of really just feeling at home within yourself. Because how do you feel at home within yourself when you're rejecting yourself? There's something that I always say, which is the world may reject you, but you should never actually ever reject yourself. You can experience rejection with other people. You don't have control over that. But when you then internalize those experiences and then start to reject yourself, that's when actually you create even more pain for yourself. Even if the rejection was in the past, even if the rejection is recent, it's important that we accept ourselves. And self-acceptance looks like I accept all the different parts of myself. It looks like looking at the parts of yourself that you often reject. Like maybe if you're a creative and you reject that. Maybe if people have told you that you talk too much and you reject that. Maybe if you find that you maybe treated differently because of the way you speak, because of the way you dress, because of the way you look. So you have to look at all those parts that everybody else has rejected and make a conscious decision to accept them, to say, I accept this face, I accept this nose, I accept this and this. I remember for me, which I write about in my book, like growing up, I would experience people commenting on certain features of myself, right? And I remember I started to internalize those experiences and really started to believe what those people were saying about me to some extent, like becoming very self-conscious, right? So being conscious, but not conscious in the negative sense, but conscious in the sense that acknowledge that maybe you reject those parts of yourself because of what someone said or what someone did to you. And it's actually quite important that you now tell yourself a new story to say that these parts of myself are actually lovable, right? I don't just love myself, I like myself. I like spending time with myself. I like who I am. I like my laugh. I like my smile. I like the way that I look. So that's the first part, self-acceptance, right? The next thing I would say when it comes to creating a home within yourself is be kind to yourself. How can you feel at home within yourself if you're constantly judging yourself, if you're constantly denigrating yourself in the sense of speaking down on yourself, right? Like really just speaking negatively about yourself. You always do this. You are never going to be good at this. You're such a insert terrible word. So really, it's quite important to just be mindful about how you speak to yourself after you've made a mistake, how you speak to yourself after you've gone through an experience which you're not proud of, or where you just didn't get things right, which is human, right? Or how you speak to yourself in general. Are you critical of yourself? Do you affirm yourself? Do you celebrate yourself? Do you celebrate your wins? Or do you only notice the things that you don't get right? Do you just stop to pause and say, I like myself, right? So, there's a quote that says, treat yourself like somebody that you like. So it really goes back to that quote as well, where you treat yourself like how you would treat someone that you like, or treat your children, or treat other people. Sometimes we treat ourselves worse than what we would do to a stranger. And it's quite important that we're mindful of our inner dialogue. Number 3 is start spending more time with yourself. This is one of my favorite things to do, is that I really enjoy spending time with myself. I find that that's when I can actually tap into myself and find out how am I feeling, like really check in with myself. Do I feel safe? Do I feel happy? What am I feeling specifically, and unpacking those emotions, or unpacking the space that I'm in. Sometimes I'm not even thinking, to be honest. Spending time with myself sometimes means going out to my favorite restaurant and enjoying a good meal. It means watching something that really makes me feel good. It means doing the things that I enjoy, right? On my own, right? It's okay to do things with other people, but sometimes in order to see if you really, really like yourself, you have to sometimes spend time alone. And I know a lot of people think, oh, I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert. Just have that moment where you can enjoy yourself, being in your own energy. Sometimes we fill up our lives with so many people because when we're alone, we have those negative thoughts. And also, which is okay to be surrounded by love and support, right? So I'm not saying don't surround yourself with love. Don't surround yourself with other people. I'm saying that if you are constantly surrounded by people because you're afraid of yourself and afraid of what will happen if you spend time with yourself mindfully and intentionally, or because you feel like you're not good enough, or because you feel like, like you're a boring person, sometimes just sit there and start to enjoy yourself, right? Whether it's taking a long bath, whether it's just reading a book, find something that you enjoy and do it with yourself. And I think it is important that we like ourselves. It is important that we spend time with ourselves. It is important that we take time to reflect. This doesn't mean that you shouldn't be around other people, especially if you're in a space where you need it. Sometimes that's what we need, but it's also just as important to spend time with yourself and really just engage with yourself and be in your own energy. And I think this is a bonus point. Create safety for yourself. We feel at home where we're safe. What are the behaviors that you have towards yourself that don't make you feel safe in your body, that don't make you feel safe in your thoughts, right? So work on those things specifically if you really struggle with creating safety for yourself, right? And I think that obviously goes back to the kindness towards self. That obviously goes back towards boundaries with others. It goes back towards all of those things. But make a home in yourself so that you can not only like yourself, but really love yourself as well. Or rather, not only love yourself, but also really like yourself. And this is something that I also posted on Instagram, which I'm going to read out to you. Stop looking for home in other people and create it within yourself. Create a safe space in your internal dialogue. Deal with yourself with all the gentleness and get comfortable in your own skin. So my question to you today, or my power question to you, is how can you get more comfortable in your own skin? What can you do that shows that you're comfortable in your own skin? How can you be kinder to yourself? How can you make yourself feel safer, right? We're always going to be journeying with ourselves, with this vessel, right, on this earth or on this planet. We're going to journey with this body. You're going to journey with yourself for a long time. And you want to always make sure that you have yourself to return to, right? That you know yourself and you like yourself, so that whenever things go left, and sometimes people may disappoint us and sometimes life does happen, you at least have that safety to return to within yourself. That's what I do. I create safety within myself because I know that sometimes they're external experiences. So when I go back and I think about myself, or I think about my day, or I think about my achievements, or I think and I spend time with myself, I'm not beating myself down further. There has to be a safe lending space within yourself and within how you treat yourself and within just your relationship with yourself overall. So that's it from me today. Thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe to my podcast. The Living Consciously podcast is everywhere on, I think, Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, everywhere where there's podcasts. So just remember to subscribe if you like. Leave a comment. What else would you like me to create content about? And yeah, thank you again for joining this mindful and conscious conversation. Sending you love until we meet again.